Why some children hide their mistakes? Now, have we ever caught our children hiding, denying something that they clearly did, or quietly hiding a poor test score? Have we encountered this? Why is my child lying to me? I'm so afraid that my child will become a compulsive liar when they grow up, right? So is go back to your own childhood and see when you have lied, or even present time, when are we lying, what situations are we trying to hide information or to give a different picture, cover up part of it, delay telling something. When do we do that? Typically we see that we hide mistakes because we are afraid that other person may be angry, they may be disappointed, or they may not approve of me, or they may think very differently of me. Many different reasons why children hide their mistakes, and what does it reveal about us as parents when children start hiding. So imagine a young child carrying a report card in their bag with maybe one or two subjects that are highlighted and read, and what might be going on through that child's mind. Their entire journey home, even before the report cards were handed over to them. The day, the time the teacher said that today you need to take it home and bring it back signed tomorrow, what might the child be thinking? Will they be angry? Will they be disappointed with me? They've and we repeatedly tell children, I'm doing so much for you, I'm providing so much for you, all I ask you is to get me good marks. Now what is the child going through? Will they compare me to somebody else? Will they stop believing in me? I really put hard work, but I could not score well. And that's something I've been telling, that's something parents have been denying. Now again the lower marks. Will my parents stop believing me? That's such a big fear in the child. And I somehow don't want to show my marks card. I mean, this is not just a young child problem. This is where I know at a very close acquaintance, the boy did his engineering, was in his final year, had told his parents that he was doing some course, but he was actually doing something else. The parents were so happy. They lived in another town. They wanted to come for the child's graduation, and on their way from their place to the university, the boy committed suicide because he could not even comprehend how to tell his parents that he was getting a degree in another field. The parents woke up to the very rude awakening. Mother had, this was in the US, and mother had packed away all the Indian food, his favorite foods, whatever, so they could enjoy that day, only to come and find out that son was no more. I mean, that's another extreme. I'm not saying everyone will go through that, but every small fear compounded over years, the child begins to fear the consequences. To see the parents so disappointed in him getting another degree was just not something that he could digest. So, fear does not create responsibility, it creates secrecy. I want to hide. I don't want my parents to know. So, children somehow stop asking, what is the right thing to do? to tell to not, even when the children grow up, I'm not just talking about the young ones here, but children begin to say, how do I avoid being caught? That's a very, very different person, right? So when children begin anticipating the criticism, the rejection, the shame, the punishment in different ways. I mean, I may not be punishing my child by thrashing them or locking them up. Just a roll of my eye will tell the child that somehow they are not approved of. And their nervous system senses danger. Something shut down, close up, get into that survival mode. Some of those children may fight back, may argue, may become defensive, may blame parents. Different different ways that children are telling us, sharing with us. Some avoid the situation, some freeze, they just withdraw. But the basic belief there is, I need to protect myself. I cannot come out in the open. This is too much for me to handle. Come, let me hide. What will my parents think of me? So it is not questioning, what did I do? Is it right? Is it wrong? How can I improvise it for the next time? That is something I as a parent must do with the child. Because the child is always thinking, what will happen to me? I made that mistake. It was on purpose. I just got carried away when I was with my friends. It was interesting example. This girl lied to her mother, 18, 19-year-old girl, lied to her mother and went out to a party. And she said she was having a sleepover with her friend, and mother allowed. And once into that party, she started sensing something not right. She was not very comfortable at all. Definitely, she's afraid now she's lied, and now, but she's unsafe. They had enough rapport. She called her mother. She said, Mom, I want you to just come pick me up from this place. And mother, she just put down the phone, drove to that place, picked her daughter up around 11:30ish p.m., picked her daughter up and came back home. And she said, I know you must be tired. You have lots to say. You're experiencing a lot. Just take shower, go to bed. And the girl was so scared, but she could sleep well. And next day morning, the girl woke up, and the girl has written this letter. She woke up and she was thinking her mother will start questioning her, battering her, and she was so ashamed of lying and going someplace else, whatnot. Mother did not say a word. She carried the day as though it was another normal day. Same, the whole day passed, and finally the girl said, Mom, aren't you going to scold me? Aren't you going to ask me? Aren't you going to tell me not to lie again? She said, No, whenever you are ready, if you want to share, I'm here to listen to you. That takes a lot of courage as a parent, because the child did not assume mistakes are dangerous. I can never ever do anything again. Avoid it at any cost. Now, mother had opened the door. Yes, we do mistakes, as long as we do not do the same mistake again. So this is something I would love to go back and revisit my childhood and see if there was an understanding adult in my life who said, these are normal. These are growing pains as a child. Many of us go through, but we don't have to get stuck there. I don't have to hide a broken object. I don't have to lie about a bad score. I don't have to lie about going for a movie with friends. Many things. I mean, children have so many things that are hiding from parents. And there is fear. So I, as a parent, I need to wake up to this reality. One thing I request all parents to build rapport with your child to an extent that the child will come and share their mistakes with you first. You know, if child has to share it. It's like this humongous amount of energy that's cooped up within me. And if I share it as a child with the wrong person, then I could be blackmailed, I could be taken advantage of, I could be extorted. But if the child has courage to come and tell me to help them out, that's the beautiful thing that can happen to the relationship between parent and the child. I don't need to be afraid. I'm not hiding my mistakes. I'm just afraid. And I definitely want someone to listen to me. So children do not need perfect parents. They need present parents. They need parents who are willing to accept the child no matter what they did and willing to give some tips and corrections. The parents who are emotionally safe. The parents who understand that all of us go through life making mistakes. And can I, as a parent, tell my child, thank you for telling me. Thank you for trusting me. You know, and then maybe when things settle down, you can say, can you help me understand what happened? Only if you're comfortable. It may take another few months for the child to kind of come to senses, especially if they are in the second stage of development, 11 to 14, 15 years of age. A lot of things they do. And it's very difficult for them to carry it through. So, what we are trying to do with children is one day at a time, because eventually the child is going to face an issue with some serious mistake, friendship problem, a spouse problem, a work issue problem where they may have cheated something at work, their job is at stake, all of those. I cannot do anything when that has happened because it's adding to more shame and more hiding. And you have heard lots of great business stalwarts who have gone through many, many such, eventually kind of succumb to it, commit suicide. They don't want to face the world. Right? So, trust is something that I need to build. Trust in this world that everybody does mistakes, everybody grows through making mistakes. And we take one mistake at a time, one confession at a time, one correction at a time. Slowly, surely, we grow together. We begin the conversation with, thank you for telling me. Let's understand what happened together whenever you are comfortable. Open that door up for the child to be authentic. Thank you.